Okay, I do not know if you can feel the happiness in my voice and in my face if it's radiating enough. The good news is quarantine in my city in Russia has been lifted. Yes, thank you, Lord. Now I can move around and visit my friends and hang out with them. I mean, obviously, if you're going out, you have to have your face mask and your hand gloves, which is for protective reasons. Firstly, I really want to apologize for not making a video last week. Well, actually, I recorded a video, but the thing is that when I was editing it, I figured out it was crap. Like, the audio was all messed up and all that stuff. I don't know why. I had to change cameras and it was a whole lot of process. But I'm sorry, I wasn't gonna kill myself trying to keep up to date, which I could have actually released that video, but you know, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist and I'm still struggling with it, and that's why I'm like, you know what, let's just forget about this week. So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about top 5 or maybe 6 things you should know before stepping foot into the Russian Federation, either as a student or as a tourist or to come work here or whatever it is. As long as you're stepping foot across the borders, then you really should know about these things. It's going to make you enjoy your stay in Russia and have a pleasant one. Well, I feel I'm worthy enough to talk about this topic because in this country I have studied here. I mean, I finished my college education in Russia and I'm currently working here, and I've spent roughly about 6 years as a foreigner in this country, and trust me, I think I've had more than a whole lot of adventure because I love going out, right? And I've had interesting adventures that I'm gonna be sharing with you guys in this video. It actually makes sense if you're gonna sit right through the very end of this video because there are a whole lot of things that I'm gonna be exposing. And of course, I said 5 or 6, but I think towards the end I'm gonna give you like what I call worthy mentions. I don't know, maybe because I've watched all this top 5 lists and they always have like worthy mentions things, so why not? Why can't I? Okay, fine, I'm already talking too much. Let's get straight up into the list. And number 1 on the list is ignore the news. I mean, Russia honestly is being projected to the rest of the world as a very negative country, a country with lots of racism, with lots of angry looking people, with lots of political problems and all that and all that. Well, just like every other country, Russia has the positives and the negatives. But I feel personally that Russia just has so many bad things about it outside of the country. And I'm telling you honestly, most of them are just fabricated lies or maybe too much exaggerated. So you might want to be open-minded when you're coming to this country. Don't even come, oh, they are racist, oh, they're this, oh, they're that. Just ignore all those things. Come ready to enjoy, to explore, to have an adventure. Because if you're gonna come with all this whole works up in your mind, you're probably gonna miss out on a whole lot because you're already gonna be judging people even before you get to know them. And I really do not think that's a good startup, right? I don't think so. So come open-minded. So talking about news, there are actually 2 things you might really not want to ignore. And that is number 1, the Russian winter. And number 2, their love for vodka, alcohol. Those 2 things, you might really not want to ignore it. Take it from me. And number 2 on the list is the fact that the bureaucracy in Russia can be really, really frustrating. Like, I swear to God, if you're coming to Russia, you should just get ready for lots of paperwork. Like, these people, you go to this office, you sign one document, you go to this other office, you sign another document. Like, you're almost gonna sign away your whole life. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but these people, they have so many procedures, even if it's for immigration, maybe it's for banking. Like, there's just so many things to sign. Like, I remember when I came newly as a student, like, I was signing and signing and signing and signing. And the fact that these people, they are really into the documentation process, that you have to read through every line, you know, and you have to sign, you have to write your name, your middle name, your surname, you sign, and this, you sign that. If you're coming, just buy yourself a pen, seriously, and have lots of photocopies of your official documents, because you're really gonna do a lot of it. A whole lot. Well, right now the good news is that they are trying to move most of these things to be done online, but well, still in process, not super where it's supposed to be yet, but it's in process, like I said. But just get ready for the bureaucracy to sometimes, you know what that means, okay? Number three is you should save your money in dollars or some higher valued currency like the pound sterling or the euros, I think. So the Russian ruble is highly affected by lots of factors: the oil prices, the sanctions, the things that are going on in the economic world. So this makes the ruble a little bit unstable. When I newly came to Russia as a student, that was in 2014, $1 was equal to about 50 Russian rubles. And I actually heard that before I came, it was equal to 30 Russian rubles, which was lesser. But currently, at the time of making this video, $1 is equals to 75 Russian rubles. And it actually even sometimes gets to 80. So you might really want to, save up your money in dollars. Talking about saving your money in dollars, you should really consider having a good bank. Personally, I would suggest Sberbank. Why Sberbank? Well, this is not sponsored. I mean, it would be nice if it was sponsored. So Sberbank, what's up? Okay, I'm just joking. I love Sberbank because you can find their branches on almost every nook of Russia. I mean, in most cities you find Sberbank, and even in the villages. Okay, well, not really, but Sberbank branches are almost everywhere. It's hard not to find one. And I love their policies. Of course, sometimes they can be really annoying, really, but the fact that they are quickly open to new technologies and they make life easier, and you don't have any shady deals with your money. I've had experiences with different banks which I wouldn't mention for some reasons, but for me, I'll suggest Sberbank. And number four, this one is not really something new you haven't heard before, but I'm bringing it to you from a new perspective and a new light and a new exposure. Mix with the locals and make friends. Well, this one is said countless times about different places. The only way to really enjoy the package that Russia has in store for you is to mix up with the locals, because they have interesting stories to tell about places, and they have interesting places to show you, of course. And Russia itself is a country with lots of history. So one reason why I would say mixing with the locals is very important, I mean, aside from the fact of having them tell you their stories and you experiencing the culture, is the fact that I have come to understand that Russians are really loyal. I mean, they are loyal to their friends, they are loyal to their family. So if you have a friend who is a Russian and you maybe happen to get into trouble, or even if they're not your friends and maybe you catch them in their good mood, these people are ready to selflessly help you to the very last that they can. I remember countless times, especially when I was new, while I get lost trying to go somewhere, and I just walk up to a random person, I'm like, excuse me, I'm trying to go to this place, or can you help me call a taxi or something? These people, they give you directions. If it's possible, they're gonna use their phone to call the taxi for you. They're gonna stay there till the taxi arrives, and so you sit in the taxi and then you leave before they can move on with their own activity, even if they're just meeting you for the first time. Of course, it doesn't happen like that every time, but in situations like this, these people are really willing to help. And the fact that they are locals, they get to tell you all the Russian history and all the superstitions, because the truth is that sometimes as a foreigner, you come to this new country, you do not know the things that they believe in, like their superstition, and you get to do one of those things and maybe it might upset someone. So some few superstitions that took me off guard was, number one, they say if you whistle, you are never gonna have money or something like that. So I shouldn't whistle. I don't whistle when my Russian friends are around. You know what I mean? I don't know, for some reason they say if you do that, it means you're not gonna get money. And the other one is, if someone comes visiting you, you have to wait till the person steps into your house before you can shake hands. So you don't shake hands with the person while the person is still outside, or even if you're the one visiting. So all these things you get to know once you start, communicating with the locals and making friends with them. And that way, maybe you live happy and you have money and you don't upset anyone. So that's it. Still under the friendship Russians, another thing you should know, that these people are straightforward. They don't pretend. If they don't like something, they tell you straight up. And sometimes it can be really shocking for us, especially the foreigners, at some point. Like, maybe we're used to the fact where someone does something wrong to you, and because you just do not want to spoil that friendship, you start keeping it to yourself and all that. No, Russians are not like that. If you do something they don't like, they tell you straight up. If you do something that is really bad, they tell you straight up. And that doesn't mean you should take it personal. It's just who they are. They just believe in being straightforward and getting it out of the way. It doesn't mean that they hate you, or after that they're gonna hate you. No, it's just who they are. And come to think of it, at this point I have come to like it, because why would you keep things and keep things and keep things and just let it accumulate? If something is wrong, just say it straight up and stop beating around the bush. Just hit it up. And for foreigners, for us, it can really at the initial stages be okay, but with time, I don't know, maybe for you, or but for me, with time, I really got to like this vibe. And if anything goes wrong, I say it straight up. If I don't like something, straight up, straightforward. Another thing is Russians do not, for some reason, smile unnecessarily. Maybe you've become used to traveling to Europe or Africa where you are walking on the street and someone just sees you and smiles and like hello. Well, in Russia, not really like that. Most of them, they just keep straight faces, and that doesn't even mean that they are angry or they are sad. For some reason, it is who they are. That's how their face is. And sometimes you get scared to even walk up and talk to them, but once you actually do walk up and talk to them, they start smiling, they answer you politely, and of course, not all of them, but most of them. So the mean looking faces shouldn't be like a deterrent for you from making new friends. Walk up to them, say hello, I'm a new person here, what's your name? And hopefully you make yourself a new friend. It's just, I don't know, I've tried to find an answer. I've asked my friends, why is it that you guys don't smile? And they're like, well, it is what it is. Well, I don't know, but just know that it shouldn't come as a surprise to you when you're walking and everybody's having all those serious mean looking faces. It's just normal. Hey listen, as a foreigner, if you want to make friends, I think it will actually make a whole lot of sense to make friends with the younger generation. I know why I'm saying this, because you know, the younger generations, they are more open, they are more friendly, you know, they don't have all this dogmatic beliefs and all that stuff. The younger generations are cool, really cool, really cool. The university students, the people who just graduated, just the young people as a whole. The old people are also really nice. I mean, God, the old people, they really have good humor, because I don't know, they have this good Russian humor from the days of the USSR and all that stuff. But if you were the type who loves having lots and lots of friends, you might just want to make friends with the younger generation. And that leads us to the last but not the least. The number 5 point is, well, okay, how do I say this? Do not mix alcohol and people. Okay, this really needs explanation. Well, the truth is that I know I said Russians are really friendly, and you know, if you get to know them, if you get to make friends with them, they are really cool and welcoming and all that stuff. But once alcohol has been involved or brought into the equation, you might really have to turn on your safety precaution, because alcohol obviously messes with our brain at some point, and they have this high tendency of being aggressive when they are drunk. Like really. So you might find yourself at the bar drinking vodka or whiskey with your friends and you know, having fun. By the time you know it, things start getting heated up, especially when they start drinking and drinking and drinking. And in Russia we have this sign for it means like drinking to stupor, you know. So when you find them drinking like that, it's all cool until a little misunderstanding and boom, bottles are flying everywhere, chairs and tables are flying, voices are being raised, and boom, wow, that's the police outside, bruv. So you really might want to, you know, put on your safety precautions whenever you're hanging out with your Russian friends and alcohol is involved. That doesn't mean that they are bad people, but they have this tendency of getting aggressive after they've had a whole much intake of alcohol. And that is it for my top 5. Now I'm gonna give you 2 worthy mentions, and number 1 is the language. Obviously you should have some basic understanding or knowledge of the Russian language, what it sounds like, the alphabets and all that stuff. You don't want to come here really super naive or ignorant, because it wasn't really be nice. Even if it's words like hello, how are you, good morning, good afternoon, like the simple. And the more you can get to know, the better for you. Поэтому я советую, чтобы вы для себя имели какие-то знания русского языка перед тем, вы прилетаете сюда. Это вообще очень-очень важно. Потому что когда я в первый раз приехал в Россию, я вообще ничего не знал. I'm just kidding. I was speaking Russian. Just, you know, sometimes you have to show off. I speak pretty good, thanks to communicating with the Russians and having lots of Russian friends. So you really want to get good with the language too. And number 2 is using your discount card. I mean, in Russia, things can really get expensive. Well, it all depends on where you are, the location. But the truth is, using your discount card is really gonna help you save when you're buying stuffs. And another thing under discount is when you go to the stores, right? You see like the price tags. They have like the blue, the green, the orange, the red, and the white. You might want to go for the colored tags other than the white one. The white ones are the, you know, the normal prices, the expensive prices, and then the colored ones have some form of discounted prices. But there are two cases on this. Number one case is in some stores, let's say the yellow tag might mean that this is the discounted price, and the red tag might mean, okay, this is gonna be discounted if you're gonna buy a second one. So you might want to also check out for that. And then also in some cases, these people can be really, really cunning sometimes. They put the big inexpensive price and then the smaller price by the side. And the big one, you wouldn't really notice. You would think, oh wow, this is the price, I'm gonna pick it up. And then when you get to pay at the cashier, you realize that this is the price if you only had the discount card, which you didn't have. And now you have to pay the small price that is written there, and there's the expensive price. So you also want to look out for that. And that is it for today's video. I really hope it was enlightening, entertaining, eye-opening about life in Russia. Quarantine is almost over, and most countries are opening up their borders to accept tourists, students, and what have not. So if you're considering Russia, this video is really gonna be very, very valuable to you and things you should know. So share to your friends who plan on traveling to Russia or coming to start a life in Russia. And you can always connect with me and ask me questions if you have any straight on my DM on Instagram at Friends by Wealth. Link is also going to be on the description box below. And I'm going to see you still this week because I promised myself I'm going to make 2 videos for missing last week. So see you sometime this week once again. And stay safe, stay happy, stay positive. With you was David Wealth. And the usuals. Peace. Thank you. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Peace, y'all. Peace, peace, peace. Ooh. Oh, oh, oh.